California high-speed rail could become the world's biggest joke. With a total investment of $77.3 billion and 826.8 miles of line in the original plan, connecting San Francisco with Los Angeles. The maximum design speed is 350 kilometers per hour. Under the plan, the rail journey from San Francisco to Los Angeles would be reduced from at least 9 hours to less than 2.5 hours. February 12, 2019. California Governor Gavin Newsom announced a scaled-back high-speed rail plan that shortening the construction mileage from 826.8 kilometers to 191 kilometers. Even with 191 kilometers of high-speed rail, is still extremely difficult for the United States. Why didn't the US consider outsourcing the high-speed rail project to China in the first place? Speaking of Chinese infrastructure, many people have to give their thumbs up. Because China is known as infrastructure maniac. Not only completed the Qinghai-Tibet Railway, which seems impossible in Western countries, even completed the construction of the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge. Even with the support of Chinese infrastructure, China has the world's leading highways and high-speed railroads. And China's achievements in the field of high-speed rail, looking at the world, can be said to be unmatched. Even the United States also have to be subservient. You know, the United States once officially launched the construction of high-speed rail in California in 2008. Then in 2015 held the inauguration ceremony, until today did not complete the construction. Therefore, it is also known as a super bad building. In this regard, the United States had to reduce the original 826 kilometers of high-speed rail. But this does not mean that the United States California high-speed rail project can successfully complete the construction. After all, the United States once invited the Chinese construction team to repair the Oakland Bridge. So the outside world has a whole new understanding of Chinese infrastructure. And now the United States is planning to restart the California high-speed rail project. In this regard, American netizens strongly suggest outsourcing to China to build. After all, the initial cost of this high-speed rail is about $105 billion. Equivalent to about 660 billion yuan. But the construction period is as long as 14 years. Which take the line between Los Angeles and San Francisco, for example. The cost of a 350 km per hour high-speed rail line in China is about 100 million renminbi per kilometer. Based on the 614 kilometers from Los Angeles to San Francisco, the total cost is about 130 billion yuan. This is equivalent to about 1/5 of California's high-speed rail budget. Of course, it is not that the United States is not strong enough. But the United States in the field of infrastructure and manufacturing strength, and China than the lack of far worse. More importantly, even American netizens do not believe in the level of American infrastructure. If you let the United States build the California high-speed rail, the construction period will be longer, and the cost will continue to rise. After all, building a high-speed rail in the United States is not an easy task. Not only does it require the acquisition of private land, but it also requires coordination with the construction team. And American construction workers will never be as tough and hardworking as Chinese construction teams. That's why the construction ceremony was held in 2015, and now 7 years later, the California high-speed rail is still not finished. It's not hard to understand that. Why American netizens think this project should be outsourced to China. But according to the current relationship between the two sides, the United States will outsource the high-speed rail project to China is not very likely. After all, the United States does not want China's infrastructure to gain global recognition again. In this case, the US is likely to choose to go ahead, even if it costs a lot of time and money. But doesn't the United States know that if it ends up building its own high-speed rail, it is likely to let the outside world look at the joke? After all, the world remains skeptical about the level of US infrastructure. No matter which way you look at it, it is not wise for the United States to build its own high-speed rail. If in the field of high-end manufacturing, the United States can be called the best, but in the field of infrastructure, the United States is poor. This is the real gap between the US and China in the field of infrastructure. Finally, I hope that the California high-speed rail will be opened by 2035.